It's October 21st, 2011. Once again, heading back to Fort Collins from Loveland. Spending some time at the BU house. Had the great opportunity to visit with Linda there. It's pretty tranquil over there today, pretty quiet. I detoxed, and that was a good experience for me. And detoxing and managing some of the files there on the detox computer led me to write a haiku about light. The light on a leaf is the same light on mine eye as well as my heart. That's the haiku I wrote. Been thinking a lot about light lately and about eyes and how eyes can only see by light and how there's this relationship between our eyeballs and between light and etc., etc. Good day today. Got to observe two very different classrooms. I observed an art teacher this morning in a drawing one class and only was in there briefly. I didn't really get to see a lot of that particular teacher's teaching, but what I did get to see were portfolios of students that have gone through the full trajectory of classes, of art classes at this high school. So, this was a drawing one class, and I presume that the teacher was showing her students these, these final portfolios to show what they could do if they, were so inspired or so passionate, if you will. But some of the work was absolutely amazing. There were some really awesome pieces that these students had done. So that was cool. I went then to a middle school and saw an English teacher there teach a full lesson, a really rich and full lesson, and that was cool. I'd been in a middle school classroom before, and I even taught 8 lessons last spring, poetry lessons to 8th graders, and they're a different bunch. 8th grade and that age group is a different bunch than the bunch that I've been teaching. I even feel kind of weird now calling them bunches, because I think of, I don't know, a bunch of apples or something. I don't really think of people in terms of bunches, so that's kind of weird. Maybe I'll recant that. But anyway, these young folks really are what they are, and the teacher had a nice little classroom and a cottage at this middle school, and I learned something. I learned something from watching. I learned something from being in these different places today. Then I went and made some art. I made some art before going over to the BU house with my wife, who was teaching an art class today through the Loveland Museum. Not a huge turnout there, but I made some Halloween art, and that was fun. And we went out to lunch to one of our favorite restaurants and had some Greek food in Loveland, and then I went over to the BU house and talked with Linda and detoxed, and that was a good experience. Something that came out of the detox was this line that it's determined, but we don't know. That's kind of my mantra in this moment. I feel like to a large extent that my path before me is fated. There's lots of things that are predetermined, I believe. A lot of things that aren't, but I really don't know, and I think it's good that I don't know, because if I knew, where would the excitement be? I think the fun's in the unknowing and in the finding out and in the discovery. I've always liked the word discovery, you know. I always come back to that word. Because I think every moment's an exploration, you know. I think there's something to discover and to be found between the lines, you know. One of my poetry teachers talked about the little lower layer, and I like that idea of the little lower layer in a text, you know. That's what he, you know, used to talk about. Moby Dick was the book we were reading, you know, taking a poetic approach to the reading of Moby Dick. But he talked about, you know, finding the little lower layer beneath the surface, you know, beneath the surface of the waves. And I feel like every moment, you know, we're all passing through time together and watching the, you know, the light waves, or, you know, listening to the sound waves, you know. I want to just continue to refine myself and be mindful and to look for the little lower layer.